Hey everybody, welcome to another replay for Command & Conquer's General Zero Hour. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to be taking a look at each of the individual players for their first couple of minutes of building and see how their initial build orders affect the play for the rest of the game. I'll do the top Team 1 and then the bottom Team 2, and I will be just doing the human players for their build orders and not focusing on the AI since they get extra resources and it isn't a realistic build order. Alright, so Skippy starts out with 3 dozers. He's starting to build the reactor a little bit far behind his command center, as well as the barracks for starting to build out some troops, and a supply center. He built that within his area that he could immediately see within the fog of war, but I would have recommended that he build that a little bit closer to the supply dock, move his dozer a little bit closer before starting to build the construction, and that allows those helicopters to be able to be a lot closer in less travel time and collect resources more quickly and efficiently. Also, I don't see a second Chinook coming out of the supply center yet. We'll see if he builds that anytime soon. And then we've got an airport that's coming out. And so he's also got that third dozer that he had that built the barracks. That's the barracks is built for missile defenders, and in order to send those down to the fire base. And looks like a secondary dozer that's going to be coming down here to the second bridge between him and Neo. And he's finished completing the airport. No secondary Chinook yet. Let's look at his resources. He's got 2,000, so he still could have that 1,200 for being able to build the secondary Chinook. Looks like he's trying to build a Raptor or something on the airport right now. Alright, so he's got, looks like he's about to lose a dozer to the missile defenders that Joe's got. And he's not able to finish that EMP Patriot. There's that Raptor that he built. And he's also got an EMP Patriot that's helping to assist the fire base. And now he's got $200. Still only 1 Chinook, so he's going to be having a little bit slow resource gathering here for a while. Alright, that's it for Skippy. Let's take a look at CoreDawg. So CoreDawg is going to be GLA. 1 worker immediately gets started going over towards the supply dock. 2nd worker going to start building a barracks. 3rd worker sent to the secondary supply dock. And 4th worker is getting sent to looks like the border between him and Pcap. First supply stash, pretty close to the supply dock, and it's at it's going to send those workers. The barracks is also finished. 3rd worker is headed towards that secondary supply dock. He's using. He didn't send the worker that initially built that supply stash. He's going to use that worker for building another tunnel network. So 2 tunnel networks at the front. And he's also already getting started with the arms dealer. He's got a rebel that got built out of the barracks. And supply stash at the secondary supply dock for extra resource gathering. We've got 5 workers at the first supply stash. Various workers around here. The 1 worker built the tunnel network. And then we have the arms dealer. We'll see what units he sends out of the arms dealer first. There's the rebel. Looks like he did the captured building right after he built the rebel, and now he's able to capture the oil derrick for the extra 1,000 plus $200 every 10 seconds or so. And then we've got the first vehicle out of the arms dealer was a quad cannon. 2nd quad cannon. How's his resources? He's got 1,200. He's starting to build a stinger site, secondary stinger site. 3rd quad cannon. And 3rd stinger site. So he's got 3 Gatling cannons. That's 3 quad cannons and 3 stinger sites for defenses up against Pcap, 2 supply docks as well as the oil derrick for resource generation, and fourth quad cannon. Let's take a look at STM. So STM is going to be China tank. Get started with a nuclear reactor pretty close to his command center. Good for speed at the initial build. First dozer that he's built is going to send to the south. Looks like he's going for taking over the border between him and the Hard Army. Second dozer being sent, looks like he's sending that to the supply dock in the top right. The dozer that he had building the reactor is going to start building a barracks, and the first dozer that he built is going to start building a Gatling cannon on the bridge between him and the Hard Army, and he's going to get started. Let's see, that second dozer that he built is going for the supply center. Barracks is completed. Supply center is completed. Sending off that dozer off. He's got infantrymen. Looks like they'll be going to help with the border patrol. Quad Gatling cannon is completed. STM has got 1150 left. 2 sets of infantry, Red Guard, and he's got 3 supply trucks coming in. Usually 3 is the optimal number of supply trucks. And he sent the dozer over in order to get second supply center going at that dock. Now, look, Corey's got his supply stash and 5 workers already going, and almost done capturing the oil derrick. A little bit STM getting going, waiting for his resources. There he is, and now he can build his second supply stash. Sending over a Red Guard. He's probably also nearly built the upgrade for being able to capture the oil derrick. Hasn't garrisoned the bunker yet with the infantry. Sending the dozer over for starting defenses on the second bridge. And sending a missile defender down to the south. There's 1 supply truck. Looks like the missile defender is headed for the bunker. No, it doesn't have 3 supply trucks yet on that supply center. He spent the money on the Gatling cannon. Now he's going to be able to capture that oil derrick. The upgrade has been completed. He's at 6 power out of the 10 that he has available. He built a war factory. Completed capturing the oil derrick. First thing he builds is a Gatling tank. Second supply truck now on that supply center. And he's going to build a reactor. Red Guard coming over. Second reactor is completed. Hard Army's already starting to push up into Corey's base. And now he's going to build a propaganda center. Looks like he's building another vehicle out of that war factory. And he's sending the Gatling tank somewhere. Probably an initial scout into the Hard Army's base. We've got 2 quad cannons with the Hard Army that's trying to take out the oil derrick. Gatling tank was able to push in and didn't see any resistance from the Hard Army. And he's built some tank hunters and a flame tank. And there he goes. He's going up against a tunnel network, and combined the tunnel network and the technical, he's going to die unless he gets out of there. Technical should be able to keep up with them. We'll see if he... Yeah, so he barely stays alive. Doesn't have the propaganda... Well, he does have the propaganda set there. and combination of quads and technicals finish off the Gatling tank. All right, so let's take a look at Pcap now. All right, so Pcap is going to be USA Super Weapon. Yep, USA Super Weapon. So same faction as Skippy. He gets a dozer out, and let's see, so he just got his first dozer out, and about 3 seconds later, Skippy got his dozer out. So when the screens are initially loading, you can hit that D button in order to be able to get dozers queued even while the game is loading before you even see your command center, which is useful for being able to get units out quickly. Pcap gets a supply center going, as well as the barracks started, and sends that first dozer that he had building the reactor down for a secondary supply. First Chinook is out. Barracks dozer is done. This dozer is headed up to build something. Dozer's coming over here for the supply center. And first thing that the barracks builds is a missile defender, followed by a ranger. And the barracks dozer is going to build a fire base. He's going to prioritize a war factory. Nope, he's going to change his mind and he's going to build a supply center. So he didn't have enough resources for both of them, so he took the 2,000 from the war factory and applied it towards the supply center. And he's got his second Chinook on that supply dock. Combination of the missile defender and ranger is going to send inside the fire base. Skippy has built an airport already, although Pcap has not. He's been sending his resources towards resource gathering. No secondary Chinook yet on that supply center. It looks like he just selected it, so he probably just started making that secondary supply. Now he was able to finish the war factory, and he pointed it towards the center of the map, so you can do that after you do your initial build click. You hold down the middle mouse button and then twist your mouse around and it'll direct the building to where you want. And he's got enough resources, the extra 1,000, to also be able to build an airport. And he's going to build a fire base.
Got my missile launcher right here.
Secondary Chinook is ready. Don't see any rangers for capturing the oil derrick yet, but he did send a dozer down to be able to collect auxiliary resources here from the second supply dock that's in the south part of the map. And I think that about does it for Pcap's initial build. Let's watch the final one with Joe and then continue watching the regular game. Alright, so Joe, going to be GLA, stealth. One worker, secondary worker. Sends first worker to the north to start vying for the border. Secondary worker is going for the supply center, supply stash rather. Third worker headed off to the side, and the fourth worker headed up towards the first. So he sent this guy. Looks like he's going to be going towards the secondary supply center, so he's already starting to plan his second supply drop location. This guy going towards the right-hand bridge, and we've got the first worker that he had is building a barracks, and a second worker, it looks like he's headed towards a war factory, the guy that built the supply stash here. He's got 3 workers, 4 now, and let's see how his resources are doing. 2,300. He's got enough to be able to build a second supply stash if he so chooses. That third or fourth worker headed out for a first tunnel network. He's beating Skippy to the punch for the network bits over there. And then these guys, he's got 2 workers working on tunnel networks on the left side of the bridge. And he is already starting to build a supply stash. And we just have a barracks and an arms dealer, and then multiple defenses. And looks like a couple of workers here. Skippy's starting to build an EMP. And we saw Neo come up earlier to take him out, so he responds relatively quickly. Skippy had the view, started building the EMP. He's able to get to 60%, and even with Neo having a relatively quick response, and manages to get it to 82%. If he had a little bit more time for building, maybe move the EMP back a little bit, so that Neo couldn't see it and bring his missile defenders up, he probably would have been able to successfully complete building that EMP. Neo continuing to build defenses. The 2 missile defenders for this tunnel network were taken out by the fire base, but it can't see the tunnel network to continue pelting away right now. Hard Army has got a couple of quad cannons, which are going to help finish off that EMP cannon, and now this bridge is entirely open for Neo for pushing through. So let's see what happens next. Neo supply stash, 1 arms dealer, 1 barracks, 2 tunnel networks on both bridges, and a stinger site, and then a 3rd tunnel network on that right-hand bridge. So Neo has a pretty varied force here. It looks like he's got 5 RPG troopers and 2 rebels that are getting seen by Skippy's drone. Hard Army finished off a quad cannon from Corey with his 2 quad cannons. And it's going to be really slow, but the Raptor's going to finish him off. And Neo's got Land Army that's starting to build. Pcap, Hard Army is starting to also bring a couple of troops to scout out Corey's base. Blows up the missile defenders that are guarding the tunnel network. Pcap's built his fire base there. Skippy's got the Raptor that's guarding the area. Looks like he's using that as an alternate form of defense, since the EMP Patriot wasn't able to get successfully built. And now he's bringing in a couple of missile defenders and dozers for seeing if he can get the area again. Neo continuing to build the line of defenses, 3 tunnel networks and a stinger site. Pcap's making a small push of a couple of Humvees into the center of the map. He's got scouts checking out the area. And STM has got a flame tank that's blocking off the area from the Hard Army from any small infantry or lightly armored vehicles like a combat cycle. Pcap making small pushes. It looks like he was waiting for a tow missile upgrade before he made any kind of significant push. He's got missile defenders inside of there. And looks like Corey sold that tunnel network. I'm not quite sure why. Pcap loses 1 Humvee and is able to keep the second one alive with about half his health. He builds a repair drone, but he's going to get taken out by the stinger sites. There he's done. And flame tank is still going strong. Hard Army sending up infantry, quad cannons, combat cycles. None of those are going to get through a flame wall. Hard Army going up with combat cycles. Takes out tunnel network. And then the second combat cycle gets taken out by the stingers. Joe has got a line of guys. He earlier had number of quads and technicals, but looks like they weren't able to make it past some defenses of Corey and Skippy's, and he's able to get that technical. I think that there was a barracks that was down there. So Joe had the technicals and the RPG troopers take out the barracks, and now he's trying to capture the supply center of Skippy's, actually, take it over and not destroy it, and takes out the Marauder. Here comes a Gatling tank, quad cannon. Skippy sells the supply center in order to prevent Neo from taking it over. And he's going to scrap up. And Pcap is also bringing a Colonel Burton in through the same bridge. That force incursion is doing good work on Skippy's base. There goes a fusion reactor. CoreDawg trying to help out Skippy with a couple of quad cannons. So that initial move of Neo's where, and there's a repair general's promotion capability. He kept the technical alive by being able to, when it was just at the low health, he healed it in order to let it keep on going. And fully scrapped up technical now, should be able to do some good damage. And Skippy's going to sell an airport. Let's look at what his resources are at, 1,400. So he's got barely enough for another supply center. He's got one dozer left. Looks like that technical is going to go after the RPG. There's quad cannon. We've got a fully heroic technical, fully scrapped, but the RPG troopers from the tunnel network are going to take out the technical before it can. If he had just moved that over to the left a little bit, he would have been able to get the dozer, and Skippy with 2,300 would have had to have spent 1,000 for the dozer, and then wouldn't have. Don't think he would have had enough for the supply center. He still had to build a new power reactor, and so he's not. If he had taken out the dozer, that would have been it for Skippy. Woulda, shoulda, coulda, 2020 hindsight. CoreDawg now continuing to build quad cannons and replenishing his area, and even getting started with a Scud Storm. He's got the palace built there, so that allows him to build the Scud Storm. Skippy getting another supply center going. 1,500. And Chinook is out. Just enough. $75 left in the bank. Oh, I take it back. He had a secondary dozer here. If that dozer had been taken out, it wouldn't have been the end of Skippy. Would have been close, though. And then here's the Hard Army continuing to get pelted by fire bases. Hard Army is also pushing up into STM side of the base. There goes a heroic Gatling tank. And a secondary heroic Gatling tank. Pcap has got a couple of airports built. 3 supply drops. 1 barracks, 1 war factory. Neo has got a whole slew of land vehicles. He took out one of the 2 dozers that Skippy's had. There goes the fire base. Here comes a tunnel network. Making a large push into Skippy's base. CoreDawg with a whole bunch of RPG troopers that get wiped out instantaneously by all the quad cannons. And now very few things lie between Skippy's remaining base and these quads. 6 quads left. 2 quads in the middle. Corey heals his 2 quad cannons. And Neo is going to focus on this tunnel network, the RPG troopers. Secondary RPG. There goes 1 quad cannon. Takes out the whole. And 2 quad cannons left. Hard Army's been trying to push on this right side as well into STM space. Neo able to take out secondary dozer, going after the worker, and he's capturing the command center of Skippy's. Those quad cannons took out the Stinger soldiers inside the Stinger site. Here comes a Comanche. And Comanche is just enough. And Corey comes in with 3 quad cannons and able to take out the 2 quad cannons before they totally take out the rest of Skippy's base. So Skippy now, just 1 rebel. Let's see if the rebel's able to capture things. This is a really harsh push against Skippy at the beginning of the game. So Neo being able to get that Patriot, allowing for pushing into the base. And Skippy has been able to collect resources again. He's got enough for a Raptor. No secondary Chinook though. Couple of men inside. Hard Army pushing up with 4 quads. Pcap going up against STM with the C-130, trying to go after the internet center. That Gatling cannon is going to take out the C-130 pretty quickly though. Doesn't look like STM has purchased the... oh, he has. He's purchased the chain gun upgrades for increasing the speed of the chain guns as well as the damage. And looks like Skippy's also gotten a Comanche out, so he's got enough resources for that. But it's looking pretty bare on the far left side. Pcap coming in with an Aurora, helping to provide some air support to the Hard Army's quad cannons. 2 more Auroras coming in, going after power, trying to take out the quad cannons from being able to effectively do their jobs. And that Aurora gets taken out by, couldn't tell who actually killed it, but it was probably this quad cannon. It didn't have too much health left. Looks like a Jarman Kell of Neo's is going after some of the areas. He was also able to take out a quad cannon. Going after missile defenders at the tunnel networks. Hard Army continuing to push. Had looks like a terrorist was able to take somebody out, and now we've got saboteurs. Saboteur is a unit that almost never gets used in most normal human players. It's just not that common of a unit. Not that it's a bad unit. It's the equivalent of a spy from Reveler 2 and being able to disable buildings and such. Hijackers as well, pretty good at just taking over the bases, especially as the GLA stealth. Their big hampering is that GLA stealth doesn't get tanks at the beginning of the game. Here comes an Aurora, and going after, I'm not quite sure what that was, a one-time use, going after, maybe it was barracks or something. But yeah, GLA stealth don't get tanks, but they do get hijackers at the beginning of the game. And so instead of building tanks, you build these $600 hijackers, and you hope that the enemy doesn't have stealth detection units, and you just start taking over your enemy's tanks and go after them from there. 2 more Auroras going after quad cannons. There goes both of the Auroras taken down. Pretty good trade on Corey's side for giving up 1 quad cannon for the 5,000 that the super weapon Auroras roughly cost, or 4,000. Okay. And now we've got Pcap with Humvees with a combination of repair drones, scouts, and snipers and missile defenders inside these. With, let's see, 8 Humvees down to 7. STM coming in with a carpet bomb, and Pcap manages to avoid most of them, but he's down from 8 to 5 Humvees now. Neo starting to build up his forces. Pcap continuing to push, going after the tunnel networks and the quad cannons. Hard Army assisting with the terrorist. While the Humvees are distracting the nearby units. May be able to... Nope, the terrorist is going to go down from the quad cannons. And you'll notice that, like, the quad cannons are going after the drones inside the Humvees rather than the actual Humvees themselves. It's because the anti-air units always have a further range for things that are up in the air than they do for land. And so, like, if you've got a range of 300 for land, you may have, like, 450 for being able to go against air units. So you can't touch the land ones, but you can touch the air. Here comes Neo pushing up with his forces. Neo has only got 1 barracks and 1 arms dealer. He's got a slew of black markets, though. Let's take a look at his resources. He's got 7,000 right now, and he built a whole big army with all of that. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 black markets, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's got a crazy amount of resources, even more. Holy cow. All over the place, spread all over. Pcap never used that dozer to build a secondary supply center, but the Hard Army did. And now Neo coming in with his quad cannons and rocket buggies. If I were to give one critique for this particular game for Neo, it would have been a black market is 2,500, and that's more expensive than either. Well, it's like a barracks and an arms dealer combined. You might as well not build 1 black market and be able to pump out twice as many units as you can do right now. Not that it's making much of a difference. So here come the rocket buggies and the quad cannons. Skippy is selling the supply center. He's supplying his power, and he is done. Skippy is defeated, and Pcap had his Humvees in there inside of CoreDawg's base. Looks like a combination of STM tanks and CoreDawg quad cannons took out the rest of the 8 Humvees. They came up here around the top, took out STM's supply center, and then tried to make an incursion, did some damage on the black market for Corey. And Corey's got 1, 2, 3... Oh, Corey's got a Scud launcher, and he's going to send that on the units over here on the left. Those units that took out Skippy's base, and they get immediately destroyed. And Pcap's Auroras, he needed 1 more Aurora to be able to finish off the actual Scud Storm, it looks like, and would have needed, if he had that, the secondary explosion should have been able to also take out the whole. 1 barracks and 1 arms dealer for Corey. Looks like the Neo also tried to do a rebel incursion inside Corey's base, but Corey had a quad cannon there for being able to see it. Hard Army sending up various terrorists. STM's got a dozer, some tanks. Pcap has got a drone over here. STM is low on power, though, not able to power those Gatling cannons right now, so any Auroras that were to come in right now, it would be pretty much game, well, not game over. Now we've got a large variety of missile defenders, snipers, some Colonel Burtons filling up the Humvees, and Pcap has got 2 war factories now, 2 barracks, 1, 2, 3 airports, so he's building his 3rd airport, and multiple Auroras that he's got the money for. He's not even using all of the supply drops that have occurred in his area, but his resources right now, 2,500, not too bad. And Neo's got a small land force that he's starting to collect. Here come the more missile defenders and snipers coming from all over from within the barracks. Those 2 fire bases doing a good job of hampering anything coming. CoreDawg hasn't tried to push at all into Pcap's base. He's just trying to pull up all of his defenses. And then we had some artillery to take out the oil derrick that was there. I think that had been captured by Neo. You can rewind it and find out if you so choose. STM has got an airport, 2 war factories, 3 barracks. He's got a good amount of hackers that are generating resources for him. And here comes Pcap. He's got 4, 8, 9 Humvees. And looks like a dozer. He's bringing a dozer up. Dozer should be for minefields, mine clearing that's over there. Given that it's mines in STM's China, I'm assuming that he laid the mines there earlier. Joe coming in on the far left. Looks like there was a anthrax bomb that was in the area that took out his rocket buggies, but a few of the quad cannons were able to survive with some of their health intact. He's got auto repair as well as armor-piercing bullets for the upgrade on his quad cannon, so going to be able to complete that. And now Neo's finally got a second arms dealer. He's also got a Scud Storm. Still only one barracks. Pcap starting to build that land area. Aurora coming in, going after the group of tanks that were there. Instead of 6, he's got only 1. And Neo placing a beacon on the oil derrick to try and tell Pcap to capture his oil derrick. And the Dozer is completed clearing out the mines, and now the Humvees are going to make their push. Here comes another carpet bomb and takes out one of the Humvees. STM almost had him again. Just managed to move just in the nick of time. And he's not going to go for STM's base. He's going to go after Corey. So a combination of snipers. Snipers going after the stinger sites. There goes one quad cannon. There goes the stinger site. And let's see, 2 Humvees have gone down so far. Not using the pilot to help re-veteran up the Humvees. The different levels of veterancy and heroicism will increase your rate of fire and damage by about 125, 150%. So they're usually, it's very much worth it to get the veterancy upgrade as the USA to increase your speed of your veterancy and those pilots to send them back to your base and reinsert them back into your vehicles. It is a little bit of a hassle though, and so Pcap inside Corey's base. Corey and STM surrendered, and that's it for the game. So really I would say that like that first initial push where they had the bridge open on Skippy's side and laying it open for themselves to be able to go in, make a large push and prevent Skippy from being effective for the rest of the game. And then both I'd say that STM had moderate resource collection activities, but then Pcap came with his Humvees, which tore out that second supply dock and wasn't able to collect resources effectively from there. And then he was down to just 1, along with his hackers. And CoreDawg was still able to maintain, but he's just 1 guy. Whereas Pcap and Neo both had excellent resource gathering, leading into consistent pushes with large amounts of units into the area. On Pcap's side, all of those snipers, missile defenders, really great Humvee pushes. I tend to like to put some Avengers inside of those, but they are a little bit slower than the Humvee, so they're not as nimble. But I like the missile defenses, but not a big complaint. Really good games from everybody all around, and we hope to catch you next time. Oh, let's take a look at the statistics. So Hard Army built 175 and lost 163, which is crazy. CoreDawg destroyed 113, so doing a lot of work, a lot of the infantry and the Humvees inside Pcap's Humvees, as well as Joe's quad cannons and rocket buggies that were pushing into Skippy's base. And then for buildings, Pcap, 15 buildings destroyed, which is usually a big indicator of how much of the opposite team's bases you were able to clear out, along with Neo. The game with 11 buildings of Skippy's, mostly. And then resource generation, huge amounts of black markets that Neo had, followed by Pcap, very consistent, and then CoreDawg, not able to build as many black markets since he was focused so much more on combat on multiple sides. So, good game. Thanks all for watching, and catch you on the next one.